Sorry to interrupt, but we just couldn't let the opportunity go by without acknowledging and celebrating this month's feature artist here in June. And welcome summer. Let's celebrate that as well. So this month's feature, I should start by saying, hello, my name is Emma Wilson, and just so glad that you're here. This month we're so excited to share the incredible work by artist Joyce Grasso. Yeah! Sam Chappelle, Sarah Ingraham, and Rick Hamilton. All right, good job, Paige. Last night I had the privilege of attending a reception at the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston for the show of Van Gogh and the Roland family portraits, and I probably just butchered the way that they spell their last name, but that's okay. But standing just inches away from paintings I first saw as a child was an incredibly moving experience in the best possible way. But what struck me most, actually, was the closeness and the love that was shared between Van Gogh and the Roland family, especially the postmaster. The exhibit includes letters between the postmaster, Vincent, his brother Theo, written while Vincent was in what we would now call a psychiatric facility. Van Gogh expressed his emotions for the family through paint, and the postmaster expressed his emotions and love for Vincent through words. Both revealed something timeless: tenderness, compassion, and the gift of really truly being seen. It was really spectacular. But then that brings me here. We're here, right? And this morning we had this fabulous breakfast, and we found ourselves reflecting around the Portland Art Gallery and how things have changed and how far we've come in different aspects. So I didn't get a chance to ask, but I'm gonna speak for both of us, okay? But speaking for Kevin and myself, I can honestly say that in the 10 years that I've been here, this is the best team that we've ever had. We have Sean, always evolving, our online presence, always making our in-gallery experience be the best possible it could be. He makes us all look good. And Jess, where's Jess? Happy 1-year anniversary, Jess. Today was the day. Connecting with every visitor with warmth and grace. Nothing she loves more than having people in the gallery buying art. Yes, that's a hint. Okay, Lucy, the fabulous Denton, pours beverages like no other. Abby Belial, who keeps us well-fed and energized. Lisa, who brings thoughtfulness to every conversation on Radio Maine. Our artists who all have name tags, who speak volumes when words fall short, and inspire and connect us to each other every day. And to our clients, many of you who have become dear friends, both near and far, thank you for your continued support of the arts. Pretty amazing team, right? So everyone has a story, and art really helps us all tell it. So enough from me. Let's let our artists for the evening start telling their stories. And I'd like to start with introducing artist Joyce Grasso. Well, I see her right in the front. She's first. Joyce is a Portland native, now living, we'll forgive her, but now she lives in Connecticut. But she spent 35 years teaching art in Stamford and Greenwich Public Schools. Today, she shares her love of Maine through her art, from its landscapes to its beautiful tablescapes, often inspired by Maine's favorite culinary delights. Please welcome artist Joyce Grasso.
So I'm Joyce Grasso, and I'm very happy to be here. And I'd like to thank Emma and Kevin and Jess and Sean. And I'm delighted to be with Sarah and Rick and Sam at this show, and everyone else and all of the other talented artists. I don't know if it's a little high for me. That's better. I grew up in Portland, Maine, and I moved to Stamford, Connecticut, where I was an art teacher for 35 years. I was an art teacher in an art magnet school where we created scenery for 3 shows a year, so it was about 75 shows that the kids we designed and created. So I get a lot of my artistic background from the kids, and I always say that they've inspired me. They're in my hearts forever. I went to school in Connecticut, so that's how I left Maine, and I stayed there to be an art teacher. And I have an undergraduate degree in art education, but I have a master's degree in reading and correlating art with children's literature. So I have a background in reading millions of children's lit books, picture books. So I do a lot of collage, and that inspires me. I do collage for fun at home at night. And it kind of comes out in my artwork. You can kind of see that style, the childlike quality in my work. And then I wanted to go on to discuss how I've ended up. A lot of people were asking me how I went from my seascapes, which are a lot about memories. And when you walk along the beach, Old Orchard Beach, Scarborough, over the years, those are where you have your best memories. And my work is kind of a feeling of a place. It's imaginary. And sometimes you think back to these times and places where you felt the most joy and you were removed from all of what's going on in the world. And that's kind of what those pieces are about. So my still lifes are very similar. John and I watched this movie on television the other night. It was called Nona, and it's not a famous movie or anything, but it has a very sweet story about these Italian grandmothers coming back and making food, and that's how the restaurant started on Staten Island. And it reminded me of my still lifes, and they're kind of about memories. And I started doing during COVID when we were all alone, and my favorite things are food, nature, and drink, whether it's lemonade or wine. So I set up these tablescapes and started with all of my favorite foods. And recently I've been combining the seascapes with the tablescape in front and the seascape in the background. And that's all about memories, similar to the movie Nona, where your best memories are with friends and family gathering around the table. And so that's how those started and evolved. And I go back and forth between the two. I don't know which I like best. I like them for different reasons. So I want to thank everybody for coming tonight, and it's been a pleasure. And I'm thrilled to be at the Portland Art Gallery. Thank you.
Good job. Thank you, Joyce. And now I'd like to introduce artist Sarah Ingraham. Two family members here. So Sarah is originally from Cumberland, Maine, and now lives in Brooklyn, New York. But see, you can come home again, Sarah, if you know that. Her background in rug making and wallpaper design shows in her vibrant, large-scale paintings filled with color, pattern, and joy. So excited for us to be able to showcase so many of Sarah's larger works at one time this month. So in this show, we are also especially excited to feature her new tufted wool pieces, which she'll share more about. They're already drawing much attention for their texture and their lusciousness. So please welcome artist Sarah Ingraham.
Well, I barely talk to anyone in my daily life. This is a jump for me. I just want to say thank you to the gallery for having me here. Thank you to you guys for all coming out. There's a lot of people here. You know, I'm so happy to be showing alongside so many amazing artists. Like, you guys are so talented. I do this every time. The first time I forgot my name, so this is. I'm Sarah. I'm going to talk about my tufted work. Basically, I started out as a textile artist. I was hand hooking. I was on eBay buying the tufting gun before there was ever a manual on how to use the machine, and that was the early work I did. I was really drawn to the bright colors, the textures. There's a sense of sculpture to them, so that's why I was interested in it. And I lost the space where I was making the rugs and ended up painting, so that's what I've been doing for the last 6 years. And recently I've come back to them, and I think it was because I wanted to use my hands in a different way, and I wanted to go back to something that I knew made me very happy. What else? I wrote something down this time. So basically, I trust the machine and the yarn. The objects get to be more themselves, the shapes become more primitive, colors more distilled, like it's a little messier, but it's a lot more joyful. And I think basically coming back to these pieces is about, coming back to softness and joy and the things that I'm like really curious about, and that's what they kind of signify, while combining the language that I've developed through painting into this new medium. So that's basically it. I'm much better one-on-one, so if you guys have questions, please come up, ask them. So, but again, thank you all for being here.
All right, and now I'd like to invite up artist Sam Chappelle. It's really fun because there's a lot of new next generation supporters of the arts, and Sam with her beautiful baby Luke is an example of that. But Sam is one of our newest Portland Art Gallery artists, and she joined us just probably a little less than a year ago. And when an opening came up for the June slot, we reached out to see if she would like to take the opportunity. She says, "Can you let me think about it, and I'll get back to you?" And I said, "Sure." And then she calls back, I don't know, an hour later. She's like, "I'll do it. I'll just do it. But, and she did. She brought 17 large-scale, stunning pieces to the gallery for her show. Her work is alive with movement, color, and emotion, capturing nature in moments that we all want to return to. So please welcome artist Sam Chappelle.
Hi, thank you Portland Art Gallery for having me in this show. I really appreciate having a spot. Did not expect to be in one so soon, but I love a deadline, and I always deliver. Thank you to half of my neighborhood for coming and all the babies. Yeah, that might be my son, we'll see. So my work has always been about capturing a moment, less so about what a landscape looks like to your eye, but how it feels when you're in it. And that's why I think I'm always drawn to coastlines, because they have so much movement in them. The tides are constantly changing the landscape, and I could paint the same scene a million times. With the tide, it would always look different. So I think I have a lot of work cut out for me in Maine. I don't think we'll be moving anytime soon. But this collection is extra special to me because it's a series of moments that I captured with my camera first and then on canvas with my son. So he's 14 months old now, but when he was really little, he's a little heavy now, I would strap him to me and I would take him to all my favorite places around here. So if you're local, I love Mackworth Island, Eastern Prom, and then different spots in Cape Elizabeth, and all of those paintings are from one of those 3 locations. So I'm happy to tell you more if you want to know about a specific painting's location. But these walks with my son, I still call treasure hunts because it feels like a game we're doing together. I'm hunting for photos. He has no idea what's going on, but he will in the future because we will continue this. And it's just been a really special experience preparing for my first show at Portland Art Gallery with him, trying to figure out how to take care of a child full-time, painting during nap times and at night. And I think I've just learned in this process that I'm capable of a lot more than I thought I was. So that's what this collection means to me, but honestly the best part about putting art in front of you is learning what it means to you. I don't want you thinking about me and my child when you're looking at these paintings. I want you to tell me what a view looks like to you. Does it remind me of a special place that you have or a moment in your life? So please come find me and tell me what it means to you, or just ask me questions about my process. Like Sarah said, I'm much better one-on-one than in front of everyone. But thank you so much for coming out tonight. I really appreciate it.
All right, and now I'd like to introduce Mr. Rick Hamilton. So when we were installing Rick's show, we sort of asked each other, like, do we go, it's Jess and Sean can attest, like, do we go bold? Do we put a little more white space in there? And then one of the pieces sold, and so then we were like, well, he sold. Let's go even bolder. And so then we added 3 pieces to replace the one that sold. But Rick's paintings are iconic. They tell the story of Maine, its people, its humor, its everyday moments, all with joy, color, and heart. He's a favorite among our visitors, and with good reason. Please welcome artist Rick Hamilton.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming. Every time I have a show here, I have an idea in my head about like a theme of what the show will be. And then when I start painting, I do have this habit, like Sam, I love a deadline, so I always, like most of these were done in the past couple weeks. There's something about that where I really like, I have a habit of my inner critic will pipe in when I'm painting a lot, and if I know there's a deadline and I have to finish like 3 paintings in a day, I just say, okay, we don't have time for the inner critic, and I just go to work. So that's a little bit of a way of keeping the inner critic at bay. But so this show, I had the idea of I really want to concentrate on the Maine coast. So I did the paintings, and they're around my studio, and I said, "Oh, Rick, you did it again. You didn't follow your theme. You just painted whatever was in your head." And then the show was hung up here, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, this is Maine. I did exactly so." The first time ever, I did what I intended to do in my paintings. And Maine really is an important place to me. And I remember one memory I had when I was painting these is when I was a kid, we went to Acadia National Park a few times, and maybe twice when I was a kid, and I did verify that with my dad. We didn't go there a lot, but it just really stuck in my head. And I remember when I was in the Navy in the 80s, I was stationed in Connecticut, and I would drive, my parents were in Portland, I'd drive past them and go spend the weekend in Acadia just to get kind of like grounded back in Maine again. So that short time I had in Acadia really sparked, actually the way that I paint the trees is based on Acadia. And like, so when I paint something, if anybody can look at it and see that it's trees, we're good. I don't need to go into any more detail. And another thing that I do with my paintings is all of these paintings have been previous paintings. Maybe years ago, or maybe I'll finish a painting and immediately say, "No, that's not right," and then paint over it. And what I would do is I started with the new painting. I wouldn't take it all the way to the edge. And now that has been become like an integral part of my process, and it's a little bit intentional. So this is the way that I see Maine, and I hope you like them. And one other thing I wanted to say. One other thing I want to say. I have a lot of talks with my art friends. I have a group that I call and complain to just about every day, and Paige is one of them. And there's a saying that we had the other day that we said, what do we do if we're an artist and we want to make a snappy painting? One of the worst things we can do is sit down at the easel and say, "Okay, I'm going to make a snappy painting." But we came up with a saying that to make a snappy painting, live a snappy life. So that's been bouncing around my head, so that's it. Yep.
That's right. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you. That's right. We're all going to be snapping away tonight. All right. So thank you again all for being here. It's such a pleasure and delight to have you. Let's just celebrate each other and our artists and this beautiful summer evening. So take good care.